Straight ahead on WBKB News at 11. The Alpena Symphony Orchestra performs an autumn serenade at the First United Church in Alpena. Plus, the Catholic community of Alpena is celebrating another turkey dinner at St. Anne's Catholic Church. The Alpena Farmers Market is helping children eat healthier this Halloween. We'll have those stories plus your local weather and sports. The news that affects you starts now.
From Rogers City to Tawas City and all points in between, this is Northeast Michigan's award-winning news team. We are your source for news, weather, and sports. We are WBKB News at 11.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Neil Liwanag. The Alpena Symphony Orchestra presented an autumn serenade performance at the First United Church. The Alpena Symphony Orchestra is Northeast Michigan's only orchestra and was founded to give both musicians and listeners a chance to appreciate and enjoy classical music. Tonight at the First United Church, the local orchestra entertained people in attendance with their unbelievable musical talents. The Alpena Symphony Orchestra performs several times throughout the year and invites everyone in our area to come out and adore great live music.
We work hard to practice for these presentations, and so I'm hoping that people will be more aware of that we do have an Alpena Symphony in our community and will attend our concerts.
The Alpena Symphony Orchestra's next performance will be on December 11th at the Alpena High School Auditorium. Thanksgiving is officially upon us, and the Catholic community of Alpena will be celebrating by hosting their 9th annual turkey dinner at St. Anne's Catholic Church. Saturday's turkey dinner will mark as the first time the Catholic community gets together for this annual event since the churches merged in March. In addition to the dinner, there will be a raffle where folks can win $2,000 and even a chance to win $25,000. Tickets are $10 for adults and $5 for children. Proceeds from the turkey dinner will help support the Catholic community of Alpena.
I just hope you come on out, have a good time at the turkey dinner, a time to celebrate and just spend some time with friends and have a good meal. And also have a chance to maybe win some money for yourself and also to help us to get a new truck for our parish.
The 9th annual Fall Turkey Dinner is on Saturday, November 7th. For ticket information, please call the central office at 989-356-0622. The First Congregational United Church of Christ held the 41st annual sale of handcrafts and food items to raise funds for SERVE. SERVE is a nonprofit organization that helps eradicate poverty through direct connections with low-income artisans and farmers. Several items were on sale at the church, including handmade scarves, gift baskets, jewelries, and homemade spices. All proceeds from the 41st annual SERVE sale of handcrafts will benefit over 32 countries struggling with poverty. SERVE's purpose is to build relationships from different parts of the world, spiritually and emotionally.
One of the most moving things for me personally was after 9/11, the producers, the people who make the crafts, hundreds of them wrote into SERVE and said, "Are you okay? You know, we are so sad about what happened. You know, we're with you."
SERVE is hosting another sale on Saturday, December 5th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the First Congregational United Church of Christ. Despite last night's nonstop rain, trick-or-treaters were still out in full force, and one local home attracted plenty of children in costumes. Kids and adults packed the wet streets of Alpena, but one particular house off Island View Drive captivated locals throughout the night. The house was decorated with various scary figures such as ghouls, zombies, Jason, Freddy Krueger, and more. For the last 10 years, owners of this lovely home turned the place into a spooky and horrifying house for everyone to enjoy during Halloween. The homeowners spend well over $1,000 a year to make this possible and say it's all for the kids.
They love it. They love this. They'll tell me, Mrs. Bohm, this is the spookiest house. We love it. Don't ever stop doing it. It's amazing. They can't get enough of it. They can't stop staring at the creatures. They just absolutely love it. It's just a great night. Even in the rain, it's a great night.
Mrs. Bohm and her husband were thrilled to have such a great turnout of trick-or-treaters this year. For the 13th year, various types of jack-o'-lanterns were on display for the public to enjoy for Halloween. For one night only, the pumpkins were shining bright for everyone to admire as they trick-or-treated in the Ferncliff neighborhood. In addition to the jack-o'-lanterns, locals also heard some spooky-themed music such as Michael Jackson's Thriller and Ray Parker's Ghostbusters. In conjunction with Take 5 Deli, the homeowners were able to showcase their pumpkin carving skills, and every year they add more lanterns to cater to the current pop culture trends.
Some of the pumpkins are repeat patterns. A lot of times we try to pick a few themes of something that's popular that year, or something that we know is going to be popular that year, such as Star Wars, Minions, and we try to go with a few themes, and then other than that we just have a pile of ideas and people just pick from them.
Keep an eye out during the Christmas season because Jessica and her husband are planning to put up festive decorations. Yesterday, Friends of the Alpena Farmers Market celebrated Halloween with a healthy trick-or-treat event at the Alpena Mall. The Alpena Farmers Market builds an adaptable market that allows year-round produce and hosts community educational programs and events. Local children started off their Halloween rite with apples, oranges, and various other healthy snacks. The Healthy Trick-or-Treat event was a prime example for local vendors to help promote healthy living on a day that generally consists of distributing unhealthy treats.
When you go around to the door to door, and can't really give out apples and candy and healthy stuff. You got to give the packaged candies. When you're getting it from one of the farmers market vendors, at least you know who it's coming from, and it's going to be it's not you're going to get something healthy from the kids.
The Alpena Farmers Market continues throughout the fall and winter seasons on Saturdays at the Alpena Mall. Coming up next on WBKB News at 11. In your state news this evening, a Detroit police officer was shot in the city's west side. And find out why startups will now be able to offer investors a piece of their company by legally selling stocks online. All that and more next. Welcome back. In state news, Detroit police responded to a scene Saturday on the city's west side where an officer was shot. According to sources, the on-duty Detroit narcotics police officer was shot in the leg. According to police, officers were serving a warrant at a home and the first officer through the door was hit. The officer was hit by a bullet in the back of his leg. 3 people are in custody in relation to the shooting and people are looking for a 4th suspect. An assault weapon was also recovered at the scene. According to Detroit Police Chief James Craig, the officer is a 17 to 18-year veteran of the force. There is no word on his condition, but he is expected to recover.
Part of his injuries were sustained from shrapnel, but also we believe based on the rounds fired from the assault rifle, he was also struck in the rear leg, possibly the left leg.
In your Money Watch, robocalls could be soon coming to cell phones. A provision in the federal budget would permit auto-dial debt collection calls and text on cell phones, but only on debt owned or guaranteed by the federal government, including student loans, mortgages, and taxes. A new form of crowdfunding is coming to Main Street after a second ruling. Starting next year, startups will be able to offer investors a piece of their company by legally selling stocks online. For investors, it's a chance to get in early on the next Twitter or Uber, but these type of startup investments often come with high risk. And companies that make diapers, baby strollers, and infant formula are getting a big boost on China's stock market after the government scrapped its one-child policy. Communist leaders recently announced married couples can now have 2 children. On the flip side, stocks took a dive for a popular birth controller manufacturer. If you're heading to the pump, GasBuddy.com and AAA of Michigan helped us find the highest and lowest gas prices locally and across the state. The lowest price for gas at Alpena is coming in at $2.18 at Admiral. The highest is $2.19 at Marathon. Across the state, the lowest price at the pump is $2.03 in Roseville. And the highest price is coming in at $3.09 in Trenton. There's still much more to come on WBKB News at 11. Kyle Logan will be in with sports, and I'll be right back with your full weather forecast. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining us. It is now time for a look at the weather. Today your high was at 54 degrees and your low was at 46 degrees. Normal high was at 49 degrees. Your normal low was at 32 degrees. Your record high back in 1950 was 77 degrees And your record low back in 2010 was 19 degrees. Sunrise was at 7:12 a.m. and sunset at 5:23 p.m. Your current conditions, it's currently 50 degrees outside with a humidity of 73%. Now looking at your radar, you can see the clouds clearing up just a little bit, which leads us to tonight. Mostly cloudy with temperatures in the lower 40s, west winds at 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow we'll see decreasing clouds, then mostly sunny skies with southwest winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And tomorrow night, partly cloudy with temperatures in the upper 40s. And now taking a look at our extended weather forecast. Tuesday and Wednesday, mostly sunny skies with lows in the upper 40s. Thursday, mostly sunny skies as well with highs in the lower 60s. Friday, that rain system comes in with highs in the upper 50s. And Saturday, we'll see another chance of showers with highs in the lower 50s. And now it's time for today's photo of the day. Today's photo was sent in by Sarah Lynn Winters of Presqu'île. Now, this is a photo Mrs. Winters took of 2 deers enjoying a day on East Grand Lake Road. Actually, my question here is, can you see the 2 deers hiding behind the trees? Thank you, Mrs. Winters, for sending us this photo. If you have a photo you would like to send us, email it along with the short description to news@wbkb11.com. In your Health Watch, pregnant women can eat during labor according to a new study from the American Society of Anesthesiologists. Doctors have long recommended expectant mothers fast while delivering because of concerns a woman might inhale regurgitated liquid or food if she needs to undergo general anesthesia for a cesarean delivery. But new research finds that almost never happens thanks to improvements in anesthesia. Researchers say eating a light meal could be beneficial, giving the mother and baby more energy. The American Academy of Pediatrics is now recommending banning sales of all tobacco products, including e-cigarettes, to people under 21. Doctors warn the growing popularity of e-cigarettes is threatening to addict a new generation of teens. And low-fat diets are not the most effective for long-term weight loss, according to a new study from Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. Researchers reviewed more than 50 studies and found low-fat diets were no more successful than diets with a higher fat content when it comes to keeping off the weight for more than a year. In national news, former senator and actor Fred Thompson died in Nashville today after a recurring battle of lymphoma. His colorful career took him from Tennessee lawyer to U.S. senator to Hollywood actor. Brian Webb reports from New York.
Fred Thompson had a commanding presence. He was 6 foot 6 inches tall, had a booming voice, and a straightforward Southern sensibility. Born in Alabama, Thompson first gained notoriety during the 1972 Watergate investigation. As legal counsel, he asked the question that led to the disclosure of a taping system inside the White House. Those tapes played a pivotal role in the resignation of President Richard Nixon.
I'm Fred Thompson, and I want to tell you what I believe right now.
Thompson won Al Gore's Tennessee Senate seat in 1994. He retired when his term expired in January 2003 and briefly ran for president in 2008 as a Republican Party candidate. But most Americans know Thompson from his roles on the TV show Law and Order and big-budget movies like The Hunt for Red October.
And I imagine you'll tell me what all the hubbub's about.
Thompson's family released a statement saying in part, Fred was the same man on the floor of the Senate, the movie studio, or the town square of his hometown, adding he died peacefully surrounded by his family. Fred Thompson was 73 years old.
After retiring from politics, Thompson hosted a conservative radio talk show and became a TV pitchman for a reverse mortgage company. In other national news, a Halloween horror unfolded in the Bronx Saturday night when a car hit a group of trick-or-treaters. At least 3 people were killed. Dave Carlin reports.
We heard the boom, 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 the cars hitting each other and the car flying, and then we were hearing screams.
Witnesses say the black Dodge Charger rammed the car in front of it on Morris Park Avenue near Bogart, then launched over the sidewalk through a fence and slammed into a wall. It was around 5 p.m. and police say most of the victims were out trick-or-treating.
I saw the cars come up in the air and fly into the yard. It was horrible, man. Another person was crushed underneath the car. It was horrible.
Somewhere under the vehicle, there was considerable damage to their bodies.
3 are dead. A 65-year-old man who was on the sidewalk was crushed, and witnesses said he died instantly. A 10-year-old girl died a short time later in Jacoby Hospital, as did a 24-year-old man. 4 are hospitalized: the 52-year-old man who was driving the black car, along with a 21-year-old woman, and 2 girls, ages 3 and 9. Neighbor Fabio Cazza helped one of them.
I grabbed a whole bunch of towels and I ran outside. She was hardly breathing, so I just put the towel on top of her to keep her warm.
The survivors are 2 young girls, a 21-year-old woman, and the 63-year-old driver, who police sources say may have suffered a seizure in the moments leading up to the deadly crash. In the Bronx, Dave Carlin for CBS News.
Investigators are working to find the cause of the crash. Sports is coming up next, and Kyle Logan is here with a preview. Kyle?
Neil, tonight in sports, the Sprint Cup Series begins the contender round, and we'll give you a look at where the Xfinity drivers currently sit as well. Also, Matt Harvey on the mound for the Mets in Game 4, and the Lions in search of win number 2. Did they accomplish that feat? To find out, you have got to come on back. Sports is next.
Welcome back. An elementary school in Minnesota went back in time after opening a time capsule from the early 1950s. A couple of 4th graders from 1951 joined Jackson's Riverside Elementary students to see what's inside. The capsule contains old newspapers, phone books, and a full list of staff and students from that year. Principal Joel Timmerman says they can look back and talk to their moms and grandmas and say, "Do you remember this?" or "I remember it a long time ago when they buried the time capsule," or when they get to be 70 years old. They can say, "I was there when they buried the time capsule," and shared it with their kids. Construction crews discovered the object a few weeks ago. So Kyle, that was interesting. You see a time capsule. Do you ever think about putting anything in a time capsule and years from now you see something that you buried?
You know, I think certainly it's one of those things. Time capsules are always really fun, but only if it's something that can be found, way after. I think like the video said, 70 years. That's a long time, and I think that's the time that's appropriate. They kind of stumbled upon this time capsule. That's really cool for those kids to be able to look back and see what was going on 70 years ago. And if these kids want to start their own time capsule, which something like this could spark one of those little events, but certainly 70 years from now, I'm sure they would love to know what these kids were doing in 2015.
Imagine 70 years from now, they see iPhones, smartphones, iPads, and they'll wonder, what is this?
They're going to think those items are way outdated. That's what they are. But remember, you can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on other news items online.
Just visit WKB11.com for sports, weather, news updates anytime, day or night.
Or add us on Facebook at facebook.com/WBKBTV.
Well, that will do it for tonight's show. Wake up with Erica Fernandez tomorrow morning at 6:30. Good night, everybody.